What men want?
What men really wants, youth and beauty. That's it.
Well, it depends
Or
on
on
where you
top
are in
of
your
the.
life. They want companionship. They want, this is my opinion. I don't speak for all
Yes,
men.
of course.
I would say honesty, integrity, accountability, which seems to be missing. They want to feel safe.
Hey, everybody, it's Ellie Marie, and welcome to another episode of Soul's Purpose podcast. And today I'm really, really, really excited to have my friend Jim here with us today. You know me, I'm very picky about who I spend my time with and who I talk to. So I was very particular about who I was going to invite onto my show to chat with me. I wanted to be able to really have some authentic connection with my guest. And I think Jim has a wealth of experience. He also has a channel he's working on, and he is also working on getting his daughter to start creating as well. So this is his start. Hey, Jim, want to say hi to the collective?
Hi, collective. I'm Jim.
Do you want to give us your channel name or no?
So the channel name is Me But Older.
Perfect. Okay. And then, we can put a little me but older right there in your chest, your channel name, so people
Okay.
can find you. And then when they do that, that means that you have to provide them with some content, Jim, okay?
I'll try. I can put this up.
Okay. That's a start. Jim, what do you think of dating and relationships in today's world?
So I am MGTOW, I would say. I am. I think it's too dangerous for a man. I think there's a
Wow.
lot of double standards. At this point in my life, I just want to be free. I mean, I don't see really any point to it.
It almost feels helpless. It almost feels confused. Like, which direction do I go? I'm, damned if I do, damned if I don't on how I approach a woman or not with just the way society is today. It makes men scared. Am
Well,
I onto something?
yeah. So I was born in the 50s, 1959, and that
Woo.
was a different era where the man went out to work and he, provided for the family, and he, on a single salary, he could provide for a wife and kids
Wow.
in the suburbs. And that's changed. There's been just a lot of social engineering since then, where they want to break apart the family, strengthen the government, disenfranchise men. They divide and conquer. They put women against the men. The women have been, from my, this is my opinion,
Of course.
have been programmed to be to compete with men, to be antagonistic towards men, but yet they're still victims. They, there's Me Too. Men are bad, women are good. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I remember her and her friends sitting around the kitchen table one day, talking about like Gloria Steinem and those Bella Abzug and those feminists that wave of feminism. I don't know which one it was, two, three, and I remember them saying, "Are these women crazy?" Because they had such a good thing. Their husbands went out and worked. All the men in the neighborhood, they died before their wives, so they killed themselves for their family. And
Wow.
that was not such a great deal either. I just remember looking at my dad going, wow, no, I mean, at some point I realized that, he goes out to work every day, and he's got to drive to work, and we're here, enjoying the house that he pays for. And then nobody really appreciated what he did. Nobody respected him.
You mean now, as a mature male yourself, in retrospect, you understand that feeling? Obviously, as a kid, you don't know that, but you're talking about now?
Yeah. So for me, so my daughter's mother, she went to college, and she was programmed, with feminism. So she wasn't a partner. She was a parasite. You know, she was contrary. You know, so like she wouldn't work together with me. It was her way or the highway. She wanted to be the boss. The reason she was attracted to me was because of my success, which she did not know how to achieve on her own. But then when she got it in with me, she just did everything she could to destroy it.
Do you feel, Jim, like it was competitive being with her? Like it was a competition more than a team?
Yeah, well, it wasn't, she was parasitic, not even competitive. It was just, it was her way or the highway. I was there to serve her. I'm probably a bit of a narcissist, you know.
We can all be
But
that way sometimes, but that's great awareness, by the way. That's great awareness. Wow. Good job.
yeah, I think I've had 20 years of therapy, and it just really hasn't fixed me.
I mean, give yourself some credit. You're here speaking out on things. That's the 1st step
I'm a
to,
work in progress.
well, aren't we all? I mean, that's the first step to
This is a good
evolution.
water bottle, by the way. Vapor.
Vapor. Oh, it looks
Vapor.
cool.
Yeah, it's portable. It rolls up after you finish drinking it. You put it in your pocket. You don't have to throw it on the trail or anything. I use it for hiking and traveling.
You are teaching me many things. That's really cool. Did you get it on Amazon then?
I got that on Amazon. You can get this on Amazon.
Perfect. Hey, they need to pay you a sponsorship there, Jim.
Yeah, one of my favorite brands. I love it.
Lovely. Thank you. So you're saying it's just an unfair. I mean, it's well, it is unfair, but it's just pretty darn difficult.
It's rigged. It's deliberately rigged.
It's rigged. I see you. I hear
Because
you. I
it's
see
not
you.
just happening here in the States. It's happening all over the British Commonwealth. So there's this thing, I don't really understand what's happening, but it's happening in India, Australia, Canada, anywhere you go, even Brazil. The laws are the same, right? So a
Yeah.
woman makes an accusation against you, you're guilty until proven innocent. And it's like, I thought, you know, when I grew up in the 50s and 60s, or the 60s basically, you know, one of the founding principles of this country was that you're innocent until proven guilty. But no, not now. No, I'm kind
No.
of cynical. I'm more
Okay.
cynical than I'm on the cynical side. Not every guy is as cynical as me. You know, the guys still hopelessly romantic. The divorce rate is what, 50, 60% now, and 80% of divorces are filed by women, are initiated by women.
Yes, I've done the research on that as well. You're right. Yeah.
And men get raped in family court. Like, so women are equal, which they're not. And I'm not saying they're inferior. Women are not, we're not
I
equal,
agree
we're
with you.
complementary.
Complimentary is a great word.
So when you have a situation like in the 50s when my dad was, you know, the breadwinner, the man was the king of his castle,
Yeah.
you know, Father Knows Best. I don't know if you know that show. There was this show in the 50s called Father Knows Best. That was the propaganda in the 50s and the early
Oh,
60s.
I thought it was just a saying. Actually, I thought it was mother knows best, but now I
Well,
know.
now it's Mother Knows Best because we live in a matriarchy. So live in a
It's
matriarchy, but
pivoted.
they say it's a patriarchy, right? They say that women make less than men. They don't. They say, and it's also, even if men do make more, women control 80% of the exposable income of a household. So it's not really what you make; it's what you keep. I don't know if at 65. I was like, I'm not dating age anymore. I don't have to worry about it anymore. But apparently, I run into people who are still interested in me, and I'm like, I'm surprised. I'm like, I thought, you know, I did not think that, you
What?
know,
Really, Jim?
yeah,
I've had clients who are 75 and dating 3 women at once. I mean, come on.
I guess
Really?
the odds improve when you get older.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a playboy, that's for sure.
That's my experience that women are expensive. They have certain expectations that they want to be. You have to. So women and men, we have to invest in each other, right? A woman invests her time. She makes herself pretty. She makes herself available. Whatever. That's expensive, right?
Yeah.
But so we're equal, and she needs to make as much or more than me, but I still need to pay for dinner. You know.
I hear you. I hear you. And I mean, there's so many like nuances with that in dating, and how long a date is, what kind of date it is, and all of that stuff, how much it costs, and all of that, and
They
who
don't want to do
pays,
a
and going
coffee
Dutch,
date.
and all that. I know. So, but then let me ask you this then. Isn't it also dependent on the type of woman that you desire or seek? Because if you're talking about, I mean, I would, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would have to assume if you're talking about an expensive woman, this is someone who's more along the lines of maybe like an Instagram model, someone who has their lashes, their hair done, their nails, their waxes, their their spray tans or whatever, and their Botox and all that. Did you mean? Because then it depends on what type of woman you seek, right?
Well, I don't. I'm not seeking a woman. I
I
have.
mean, yeah. I mean, if because
So
I'm
my philosophy, and this, if I was a woman, this would be my philosophy too. From just what I've,
uh-huh.
just be yourself, go your own way, and then you, chances are you're more likely to meet the right person along the way because they're going to be on the same path or a similar path, or you'll bump into them. You're like,
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
like,
that's the whole point of this game, right? It's about connections. It's about love. So what was dating like for you in your day? Speak on that and what you can remember.
so my family moved away when I was 18, 19, and I stayed in New York, and I went to the School of Visual Arts. I was on my own, and I was very insecure. I had a low self-esteem, and I did not think that I had this weird thing. Even in high school, I remember, I did not think I was attractive. I had like massive trust issues, but I was actually very handsome, and like really good-looking girls would have crushes on me, and I wouldn't trust them. I would be like, what do they want? I'm not attractive, you know. So I was
Interesting.
I was a mental patient. So I was
So this was more in your like teenage years, like
this
the
was when
formative
I was
years,
a
or more?
teenager, and then in my 20s.
Oh,
When I
still.
was going to college, I paid for my own college. I worked and went to college at the same time, so I was under a lot of stress.
So you
And I
weren't
used
really
to,
interested in dating then?
I was so horny. I was just, I was so lone. I was so lonely. But I felt like the boy in the bubble. Like there was this, nobody could penetrate my force field, and I did not understand where it was coming from.
You mean like you didn't want to let people in, or you didn't want to like be vulnerable with any women, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't. Probably both. It was like I wasn't good enough. Women were on a pedestal, so I didn't trust them when they liked me. It was real psychological. I mean, it's borderline mental illness. It was really pretty bad. And I tried to work through it. I got a therapist. I couldn't really afford much of a therapist, and it was a
Yeah.
female.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, I don't understand it. I'm walking down the street, and this really hot looking girl just bumps into me. And I'm like, they won't leave me alone.
Wow. What a
and,
tough time you
and
had.
but gay men were constantly hitting on me. Gay men were constantly hitting on me, and I was like, I just was so confused.
I'm sure that there is some like deep rooted stuff that explains it all, because it always comes back to our inner child wounds at some point, our family trauma, something. So I knew that you were gonna give me the real deal. So I appreciate that. I want to ask you the next question, okay? What do men really value in a woman for a long-term relationship, in your opinion?
Trust. and loyalty and partnership,
Trust, loyalty, partnership,
honesty,
honesty.
honesty. And the fact is, women are not honest. They're not honest. So you look at, let's take makeup for instance. So a woman's face is her work of fiction. A man's face is his biography.
Yeah. Okay. I can understand that. I mean, I will say, yeah, it's like our filter. It's like our tangible filter we can actually put on. It's not
It's
a
it's a
filter on
mask.
Instagram or anything.
It's a lie. It's just be honest. Who are you? What do you
Yeah.
look like?
Yeah. I mean, I can say, and I mean, I hope you can understand or at least try to accept. I have like two different answers about it because on the one hand, yes, like it is false. It's a facade. It's not the truth. Versus how we look like right before we go to bed or when we wake up in the morning. Correct. I think it's also dependent upon like the woman, how much makeup she puts on and what the intentions are. I mean, I can say for myself, I like the more natural look, and I know there are a lot of women like me. And it doesn't mean that the women who like to get their nails done and get their hair done, bi-weekly and have their false lashes and all that, that's not wrong. It's just I think it's a preference. This happens to be my preference. Both are filters, both are lies, both are facades. But I feel like it's important to remember the intentions behind everything that we do. Like for me, I just like to accentuate my lashes a little bit and maybe my eyes, and it makes me feel
That's okay.
pretty.
Your makeup's okay. You look beautiful.
Thank you. But I mean, like, and maybe the girl who has all that makeup on and the false lashes and her brows look impeccable, like maybe she just likes playing with makeup. Maybe that's her art, and her skin is her canvas, which is amazing. So again, I
That's
think intentions, and that's
that's
that's a whole other topic that we could go into
that's
about.
often true. It's
Correct? Right.
to each his own. I'm just speaking about myself.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
I
and I
don't like
value that
makeup.
very much.
I
Yeah.
don't like the taste of lipstick. I
Yes.
don't.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that. I know, yeah. So maybe then, that's why we have lip balm, right? And do men have a type, and why these types?
Yeah, so men have a type, and I I don't have all the answers, but my current understanding of it is that we all have an archetype, which is an amalgamation of childhood, our relationships with our parents, our relationships throughout our lives, and also maybe some of it's hardwired as well. Because I remember when I was a teenager, I would have dreams about women, so I knew I was heterosexual. I think if I
Yeah.
was gay, I would have had dreams about men.
Okay. What kind of dreams did you have, if you want to share? I mean, as long as you don't get this video banned.
I used to when I was a teenager, I would take, you would just see, for example, I would see women who fit certain archetypes. Like one would have a really pretty face, the other one would have a hot body, a nice chest, a great ass, and I would just put the nice ass on the one with the nice chest and the one with the nice.
I feel like I've seen that in a horror movie, but I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's
just
like that kid. It was like that kid in Toy Story. Do you remember that kid in the first Toy Story movie? He took the one doll and put it on the other doll, and
kind of like that.
he
But
made
building
like
your
a
yeah,
Frankenstein doll.
yeah, but building your perfect woman. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
my
Which,
perfect
yeah.
archetype. But I was also influenced by Playboy. Like we used to, like my friend had an older brother, and he had a stack of Playboys under his bed. And one day, my friend stole them. We went out to the bushes and looked through, and we were like, "Oh my God!" Like. So we were kind of
Wait,
like, in
how
that
old were you
sense,
guys? How old
we
were
were
you?
young. I don't know, man, kindergarten or younger. I don't know how we were really young. So I
Wait,
mean, I think that
wait.
has an
Five or
impact.
six? 5 or 6 or 7
Very,
years old?
very, very young. So
What?
they
How
in
did you get your
the
head? Okay,
what?
never mind. I'm like 5, 6, or 7.
So
That is way too low. Oh.
that's programming too, right? So
No, of course. Oh my
that's
God.
playing with my head.
At least say 11 or 12. 7
No,
years
no,
old
it
is
was
a little hard to
way
hear,
before
but
that.
that's okay.
Way
All
before that.
right.
And
Okay.
then
Anyway.
funny thing about that was in those days they used to shave or airbrush the women's pubic hair. So when I was finally with a real woman, I was like, oh my God, there's hair down there.
I think I'm going to take a chance and leave that in post. I'm going to leave that in this
I don't
well,
think
in
that's
this
so bad.
podcast. I hope not. Let's not get banned, but
But it was
if
just
not, we
like
have
if you
other
grew up in the
platforms.
'60s with Playboy magazine,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there were other magazines as well, like Hustler and Penthouse, and it was a big
Yeah.
industry. And they had
Okay.
sex goddesses like Marilyn Monroe. They had what was her name? Sophia Loren. I thought she was hot. Gina Lola Brigida. There was a lot of Italians and Irish and Germans in those days because there had been a wave of immigrants from
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
countries, and they had
Right.
shut down immigration for a while. So I grew up with those people in large part. There was like one Chinese kid in our school. The blacks and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whites were segregated.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a different time, different reality for sure. So the what I'm hearing from you is the objectifying of women definitely played a part in your kind of like your building your fantasy woman. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it wasn't real. It was like a fake.
It wasn't real.
Then I looked at my dad basically being a wage slave and nobody appreciating him. And my mom, she did not raise the kids to respect him. She didn't discipline the household, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's working his ass off and it's just being wasted. And
Were you can you say now were you happy in your childhood?
I don't know, sometimes I was.
Okay. Okay.
It was like
You
I think there was always this longing there that, was never fulfilled. I
like
always
what?
felt like I wasn't permitted to be myself, and wasn't accepted as who I was
By
by
whom?
by my father, and by my mother. Maybe a little. She was way too easy on me. So people are very complicated. Women are very complicated. Men are very complicated.
Gotcha.
There's an archetype. It's like
Yeah.
two pieces of a puzzle fitting together, and you can't control it, and you
Yeah.
can't make it happen. The only thing you
Yeah.
can do is go your own way, and whoever you meet along the way, you meet along the way, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's a
Yeah. Yeah.
crapshoot. It's
That's the
it's
game.
I said to myself at one point, finally, after I did eventually start dating, when I started making some money in my mid 20s into my 40s, I learned a lot about women. At first, I was very introverted, but then eventually I started looking at it as a numbers game, and I eventually met a lot of women.
How was your experience then? Mostly positive, neutral, negative?
It was um, it was a mixed bag. It was very complicated. Sometimes I
Okay.
was the bad guy. Mostly I was the bad guy.
Did you enjoy yourself? Do you remember enjoying yourself dating?
I remember women were like a drug to me. Like, yeah, like, so when I fell in love, I just would just lose control, and that was very scary.
How do you think technology has impacted relationships today?
I think it's probably created more isolation and loneliness.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I think the statistics bear it out. I mean, people are interacting through a machine rather than through a third party. Like dating apps or Tinder or And people are more objectified than ever, and they're also putting out a front now, like Instagram women are trying to people. I don't know what men do. I don't look at men. I see my daughter, and she's putting out this beauty stuff. She's into beauty. She's a very pretty young woman, and she's into makeup and all that stuff. But I remember, I think the danger in makeup is that you can try to mask your insecurities as a woman. You can hide behind it because it can, mask a low self-esteem. You can try to be competent.
Give you a false sense of empowerment, maybe.
Like you can't go out without it, and the industry exploits women that way, I think.
What are your feelings towards your daughter kind of liking the makeup a lot? Does she wear a lot, you think, or what are your opinions on that? What are your feelings on that?
She wears a lot, but I think that she's artful, she's into beauty and fashion and stuff. So I think with my daughter, she's 18. For the first time in her life, she's out on her own, able to find herself. She never had this opportunity before. So whatever her process is fine. I will eventually tell her how I feel about it, but it's up to her. She gets to live her life,
So if I heard you right, you say that she wears quite a lot of makeup, is what you said?
Well,
how do you know that as a man? I just want to know. How do you know
because
that?
it's my daughter. because so I was been trying to get her to do YouTube, right? I wanted her to vlog her dorm life over there at NYU.
Yeah.
So I said, all right. And she's always needs money, right? So I said, okay, I'll give you $1,000, but you need to deliver 3 videos to me: a beginning, a middle, and an end. You have to tell a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Wow,
And
cool.
they have to be 4K and et cetera, et cetera. So she eventually did it, and it's just to show your life. I want to see your real life because you're there. You're there in New York. I'm here in California. I want to know what your life is like, and I want you to share your life. It's exciting what's going on with you.
Yeah, and then
So one of them was her. She just put the camera on while she was making up.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know if you're aware, just playing devil's advocate here, Jim, but there are a lot of female creators that do like vlogging while they put their makeup on. It's a thing. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason, I don't know why, I've seen them sometimes. I don't watch TikToks or videos like that often, but when I come across them, I just watch. I just like to watch her put her makeup on and tell me a story. It's very comforting. I don't know why, but they do exist. So maybe that was her angle, that was her niche. I don't know. What do you think?
It was, I don't know. It was a slice of her life, which was great. I mean, she was going out. She was getting ready to go out with her friends, and I still need to edit that video, but
What was her story? What was she talking about while putting her makeup on?
she wasn't talking.
Oh, she was just putting makeup on without a story.
Yeah.
Okay, so her content is geared towards makeup artistry. Like
It's not geared towards anything. I just got her to make some videos. She
oh
doesn't
my
do
god.
it.
Well,
She's
I mean,
not. There's no purpose to her videos. The purpose to her video was to get the $1,000. So she's just like, okay, I'll put the camera
oh my
there.
god. Okay. Well, I mean, it's a start, right? I mean, and I'm sure now you've lured her with this first $1,000. She's gonna want the second $1,000 by actually giving you content you actually like and want to watch. So you can guide her on that. When it comes to women, speak on what you think men really want.
What men want?
I mean, earlier we talked about honesty, respect, and trust. Anything else
Well,
you
I don't
want to add to
speak
that
for all
list?
men.
Yeah, I mean, just your
But I would say
thoughts.
what? Well, they want youth and beauty.
What men really wants: youth and beauty. That's it.
Well, it depends
Or
on
on
where you
top
are in
of
your
the.
life. If a younger man wants they want companionship. They want this is my opinion. I don't speak for all
Yes.
men.
Of course.
I would say honesty, integrity, accountability, which seems to be missing. They want to feel safe,
Okay.
because you think, okay, women are smaller than us, we're physically stronger, but they have the entire system behind them. They have the police, the courts,
Yeah.
the societal bias, corporations,
Yeah. I hear
the
you.
media.
Yep.
So
Yep. I hear
we're
you.
pretty much under attack. I feel like it was not like this in the '60s.
Yeah. Yeah. How times have changed, right? I mean, it just shows how far extremism can go. I mean, we're fighting for women's rights, and then now it's just a
Women have way more
masculine-driven
rights
world.
than men. They have more rights
No, of
than men.
course. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I'm talking about when we were fighting for that and the evolution of our
there was
world.
nothing to fight
Now
for.
it's
There was nothing. There was nothing. Women had plenty of rights. They could go to work.
yes,
They could.
yes, yes. Yes, of course. I'm just saying the way that that's a big kind of like general viewpoint amongst a lot of feminists, right? Or we had to fight for women's rights, and but now we've gotten so far on the other side that it's such a masculine driven
Feminism was
world.
never about equality.
What's that?
It was never about equality.
What do you think is wrong with women in today's world? So the accountability was lacking, you said. What else?
I think they've been brainwashed. They've been programmed. There was. Did you ever see Austin Powers? They had these fembots in it, and they were like shooting. They
Yeah,
were
it's
like
one of my
shooting
favorite
bullets out of
movies.
their.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's one
They
of
were
my
shooting
favorite.
bullets out of their tits. Women have been turned into fembots. They've been mind controlled to act against their own nature.
Yeah, yeah. Extremism, like we talked about, just a masculine driven world. A lot of women in their masculine energy. And
Women
so it's just
are
fun.
not men. They're completely delusional now. They're completely delusional, and it's all about destroying the family and reducing the population. It's Marxism in panties. It's eugenics. It's depopulation.
Okay.
And
I might have to cut that out just to make sure that we don't piss anybody off, but I'm going to keep as much as I can to keep your
I'll piss a lot
perspective.
of people off.
But I love this though. You're so authentic. Jim, you're the best. What qualities would you like to see today's women have more of?
Femininity, and loyalty and partnership. Uh, be more submissive, really, because
You're going to get
nothing
me
wrong.
canceled using this
Humility,
word, Jim. Jim, you're going to get me
humility.
canceled.
I don't
Humility.
care. You asked me.
I
I'm
know.
telling you. You can cut it out if you want.
No, I'm not going to cut that out. No, I wanted to hear your. Thank you for being so candid with that. Humility, accountability,
Faithfulness, trust,
faithfulness, trust,
honesty, integrity,
honesty, integrity. Oh, femininity was the first word that you said.
femininity. Yeah,
And we and I
femininity.
and I just
But
said
what is
women are
femininity? We don't even know what a woman is these days. But people don't even know what a woman is now.
well, that's why we talked about it's just such a masculine driven world. A lot of women, in their masculine energy, and then that femininity that men crave is it's yeah, it's missing. It's just because when you're so far on the other side of the spectrum in your masculine, it's hard to lean into the feminine, but that can be done. It's just about, we talked about reps and constant work and accountability and awareness on both ends, on both sides. And so I hear you. I think, I don't know just in our society today, how do we get there? How do we let go of this need for control and be able to lean into the feminine? And it's okay to be submissive, with balance and being
Well,
vulnerable
you
and all
have
that.
to. So a man, you have to accept God's role, nature's role. Look, just speaking in general terms about women and the feminine and the masculine. The masculine provides resources, and the feminine creates life. the man plants the seed, and the woman, she's,
Receives.
the nursery,
She receives. Yes, I hear you.
and and then she nurtures, right? She's the home,
Correct. Correct.
and the man is the phalanx. He goes out of the home and brings resources back to the home. The woman keeps the home, and I mean, you have breasts. That's a food source. You're built to give birth and to nurture a child.
It's not even about just needing to accept it. I mean, women, we have an immense amount of power if we only knew how
Yeah,
to channel
femininity
it.
is really powerful. Really
Really,
powerful.
really powerful. That's why
Like
just the
so you have
the
a
abuse,
the softness and the sweetness and the
the
soft.
agreeableness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I know. It's
powerful.
powerful. It's influential. If only more women understood their power, then they would understand they have to nurture it and then know how to channel it. So that's kind of like what, this is all about as well. So, Jim, in closing, I want to ask you if you had, a young gentleman getting ready to, go out and date or meet a girl, like what advice would you give him? Oh, I'm scared now. I asked that question. I'm scared. Go for it.
Tell them, just, if you go your own way, at least you have your freedom. It's the risks are too great in this society, and the only way to change it is actually to reject it, go your own way. And but if not, you're taking it. Understand the risks that you're taking, and the consequences that you don't see down the line, because it's like a frog boiling in water. It's just
Yeah.
not safe. It's not women's fault. They're just what the
There's a
communists call
whole agenda.
useful
Yeah. There's a
idiots.
whole, yeah, there's a whole agenda.
Women have been
I,
duped.
yeah, I
They're
can,
being used.
yeah, I can understand everything that you're saying. I hear you. I really appreciate you being so candid, Jim. You've been amazing. Thank you for hanging out with me on my podcast. If you
All
like
right,
this
thank you.
podcast and it resonated, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you want to know when my next episode comes out. Maybe I'm sure we'll have Jim back. And then Jim's channel, Me But Older, I'm going to put it right here. You should see it right there. And
There's
Jim,
only one video.
well, so far, because now I was just going to say, if they go there, they're going to want to see more of you. So now you kind of have to put content out. You're welcome.
I'll try.
All right. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll talk to you later.